a new method, getter methods. Okay, you need to get the values from the web page. How can you get? So that's a getter methods, the element getter methods, right? So we have seen browser getter methods. Today we're going to see web element return type methods. Web element return type methods. That means the element value it will fetch for you. So that's these return type methods. So that means you can apply on the web element only, not on the browser. Remember this. These are web element methods. That means you need to first get the element. On the element, you can apply these methods. And all these methods return the value, return type methods. So we already know how to call the return type methods. Again, I'm going to repeat one more time. So any return type method, the formula is data type, the variable equal to object reference start, the method names, right? So now here web element is the method. This is the web element dot the getter method. So first one is a get text. So the meaning itself, get text. So that means it fetches the element text from a web page. So it fetches the element text from a web page and stores in a string type variable. So it stores in a string type variable. So string txt equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get text. So you can get the text of this element and that stores in a string type variable. We already used this get text in the select class also, because option also on web element. So you got that. Second one is a get attribute of attribute name. Basically, it fetches the given attribute value for the element, right? So you want particular element attribute value. You call this method on that element and give the which attribute value you want, that attribute name you provide. Then this method will get the given attribute value. So the syntax is string. The return type of this method is string. Val equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get attribute of attribute name. Get attribute of attribute name. So some of the examples for this, how to fetch the tooltip of an element. So what is tooltip? How many of you know tooltip? How many of you know tooltip? Can you observe that there is a box when you mouse over? Live commentary of Indian stock markets, stock codes, and business news. That's the tooltip. When you mouse over on particular element, so inline box, it will show some text. That text is called tooltip. So the tooltips you want to fetch for any element, where this tooltip is available in title attribute. Let me show you that. Can you see this is the code for this element, right? So where you can find that? In the title attribute. Attribute name is title. So this is the value. See this value. How can you get this value? Live commentary of this. Give this attribute name for the get attribute method. So tooltip, first you should know this concept, where the tooltip is available. Tooltip is available in title attribute. So you can write like this: string tooltip equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get attribute of title. Now you don't need to change anything here, only you change the locator. That's it. That you will. This is the complete syntax you need to remember. This is the interview question. How can you fetch the tooltip of an element? So that's why I included all this snippet of code here. So you have to give this snippet of code. So how can you fetch the URL of the link? So first you should know where the link URL will be available. So link URL will be found in href attribute. So then you can frame the syntax. String URL equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get attribute of href. See, I'm changing the attribute name. Which attribute you want, that attribute name you are giving, and for this element. Then how can you fetch the image source? Where the image source will be available? In the src attribute. Any image you take, so the image source is available in, so this is the image. The image source is available in src attribute. Source attribute, we call that. So these basics you should know, HTML basics. And if you know those basics, and easy to frame the syntaxes. See, string image source equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get attribute of src. So this is the second method, and that uses real time how you will use them. So you will use all these things. Again, I'm going to use them. See, the generic syntax is this, and uses I have shown you here. I'm going to write a program also on these methods. Don't worry. Get CSS value of CSS property. First, we should know what is the CSS properties. See, these are all under styles. This element CSS properties are these things. These are the ones: border, color, cursor, text align, font weight to font size. These are all called font family. These are all CSS properties. This is the property. Property is this one. These are fixed properties. Value will change element to element. What are the CSS properties? Font family, font size, font weight, text align, and color. So text type and decoration. So this is the font size, font weight, and text align, cursor, color, text type and decoration, border. All these are CSS properties. So these CSS property values, if you want, you need to use get CSS value method. Get CSS value method we need to use. And you give the CSS property. It fetches the CSS property value. So string CSS value equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get CSS value. That means this method also returns what type of data? String type data. So that's a return type method again. And code snippet for this scenario. How can you fetch the particular element color? So string variable name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get CSS value of color property name. So these are all property names, right? So all these property names you can use here as an argument. Now you'll get the color of this element. So how can you find out particular element is underlined or not? So string ud equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get CSS value of text type and decoration. This property has two values. One is underline, another one is none. If it is not underlined, none you will get. If it is underlined, you will get underline value for this property. Next, get location. Get location. It fetches the element position from the web page. So where that element is there, it will fetch the X and Y coordinates. X and Y coordinate values it will fetch. Point P equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get location. So P dot get X, P dot get Y, you can use it. Okay. So next. So now this method, it is changed in this Selenium 4. Now, so the element dot, first identify the element dot get rect dot get X, get rect dot get Y. Directly will get the X coordinate and Y coordinate. So this is the Selenium 4, this is the change. So you can use this one also, but so it's a Selenium 3 syntax, but Selenium 4 syntax is element name. Element name means this one, dot get rect dot get X. So that's how you can get the X and Y coordinates. Get size, you can get the height and width of the element. That also changed in Selenium 4 like this. Get rect dot get dimension dot get height. So element dot get rect dot get dimension dot get width. So these are the methods you need to call. Method chaining basically here. So method chaining you are using. So this is the how to fetch the element height and width and element X and Y coordinates. Now get a tag name. So get tag name is, it fetches the element tag. So okay, what tag is there for that element? So you can get with a get tag name method. So string tag equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value dot get tag name. So these are all getter methods. And so one more, 3 more methods are there. Let's finish that also. Then we are almost done. Tomorrow we'll write the program. So Boolean commands, Boolean methods. So Boolean method means these web element methods returns a Boolean value for you. So above methods we have seen some of them returning a string, some of them returning a point object, some of them returning a dimension object, right? And these methods, so mainly especially used these methods to check the element is present in the web page or not, element is selected in the web page or not, the checkbox is checked or not, the element is enabled or disabled, you want to find out, then you can use these Boolean methods. The first method is displayed. So it checks whether the given element is displayed or not. Whether the given element is displayed or not, you can find out with this element. And so first identify web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value. So if element dot is displayed, so the element is displayed or not, it will check. The element is displayed and enabled. That's the is displayed method will check. Next is enabled. So whether your element is enabled or disabled, if you want to know, you call this method on that element. If it is enabled, you can perform the action. If it is not enabled, you cannot perform the action, right? So that's why before doing action, first check that element. Is selected. So this method checks whether the checkbox, radio button, drop down is selected or not. Web element equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value. So element dot is selected. If you want to check your checkbox is checked or not, then you call this method on that checkbox. Or you want to see your drop down is selected or not, then call this method on that drop down element. You want to know your radio button is selected or not, you call this method on this element. Otherwise, unnecessarily, if you perform the action, but you want to check the checkbox, it's already checked. We don't know, right? Before doing action, check it. If it is checked, don't do any action. So that logic you need to build here. If it is the checkbox is selected, don't do any action. If it is not selected, then do the action in the else block. Or you can put a negation here itself. If not selected, then click on that. So like that, you have to write the logics. That logics I'm giving here, standard logics these are. So there is no complicated also, easy to remember also. Okay, so these are the 3 Boolean methods you need to remember. Tomorrow we'll write the programs on this code. Then we'll see the wait commands are there. I think we'll use the wait commands also. We'll finish that wait commands theory tomorrow. And then we'll start the coding. So we can implement the wait commands also in the code itself. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.